today in downtown Greenville at the Scullery to see Jaquel Jackson. He wants to be a dietetic intern at the Tulane School of Public Health. Let's go see. Jaquel.
Yes.
Hi, we're here to ask you some questions today about your dietetic internship.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well, and you?
I'm doing quite well.
So before I start asking you questions, I have a really important question.
All right.
What's the healthiest thing you can make me on this menu?
The healthiest thing I can make you on the menu is called a healthy bun. So my name is Jaquel Jackson. I live in Hillsborough, North Carolina, and I currently go to East Carolina University seeking a nutrition, science, and dietetics degree. Some things about myself, well, number one, I've studied abroad for a year in Australia. I actually worked in a hospital over there, helping patients out with their nutrition needs, which was amazing just to get a different perspective from a different culture. I also love food. I love to eat. I love to cook. That is one of my passions. Actually, it's a dear passion of mine. I love to make people feel good when I'm cooking. I love to entertain. That is something that makes me happy. It makes me happy to see smiles on other people's faces when I'm cooking the food that I'm cooking for them, or when I'm entertaining as well. I also work at family medicine with weight management patients, and that brings joy to my day, honestly. The patients that I work with are amazing and incredible, and they're willing to do what they need to do to lose the weight that they're trying to lose, or even just maintain their weight. And there we go. Healthy buns.
What are some of the characteristics that set you apart from the other dietetic interns?
Well, one is that I am a go-getter. I like to get things done. I like to take on a lot of things at once, but at the same time get them done. I also like to make people happy. I'm not sure if that's like one thing that distinguished me from other candidates, but I like to make people happy. I like to see people smile, and I do that by entertainment and by cooking. I have a culinary degree from Johnson & Wales University, and I love to entertain and cook, and I love to, when I'm making a meal and I invite people over and I put that plate in front of them and they look at me and they smile. That brings just everything to my life. That brings so much joy to me because it's all about people. It's all about making others happy and about really, doing something. Someone may have a really bad day, and food or anything really can make that day a little bit better. So that's one thing that distinguished me. Another thing also is that I am an East Carolina University cheerleader. I've cheered all my life. Actually, when I studied abroad in Australia, I cheered over there as well. I did an all-star team and I did a collegiate team, Southern Cross All-Star Gravity and Vipers cheerleading in Victoria University, which was amazing. It was just another perspective about cheer that just to see how they did things different from us over here.
You want to be a Tulane dietetic intern. And what are your expectations if you were to get the dietetic internship? And that aside, what do you hope to obtain from that experience?
The reason I want to be a Tulane dietetic intern is because, let's be honest, it's New Orleans. New Orleans is amazing with the cuisine, Cajun cuisine, Creole, and then the soul food. You really can't go wrong with that. And like I said before, I am a big foodie. I love food. That's one reason why I chose New Orleans. Another reason is because of the history, all of the history that New Orleans brings is also amazing. All of the old buildings in the town, it really just is one of a kind. My expectations for Tulane Dietetic Internship, well, one, I really want to be able to get to know my peers. I really want to have a connection with them. I want us to be able to help each other out because we're basically in the same situation. We're all going to be interns at Tulane School of Public Health. So why not help each other out? Also, I would like to really get to know my preceptors and make lasting contact or networking information throughout my experience at Tulane. Another thing that I like about the School of Public Health is about the DaVita dialysis centers that are in the rotation. My dad was a dialysis patient for a very long time. He had kidney disease, and I would like to see how a dietitian really help with the dialysis patients and what they do to help with that.
Tell me why you want to be a dietitian, and then tell me where you think that career path is going to take you right after you finish your dietetic internship, and then in 5 years.
The reason I want to be a dietitian is that's a really big question. Ultimately, I just really want to help people. That is my main goal in life, to help others who cannot help themselves. I live in a very rural area, Greenville, North Carolina, that a lot of people do not have health insurance or are not able to go see a dietitian. And I would love to help those people out. Really, prevention is another thing. Everyone is starting to realize that prevention is key now. Before you even end up in the hospital, it's how to prevent what is happening to you. And so I really want to help prevent diseases if I can help, especially in the rural community. Another thing is that I really want to, I guess, see myself in 5 years. That's a good question as well. In 5 years, well, right after my internship, I want to go get my master's degree, and I want it to be in public health. That way, I feel like I will get a cultural competency that I may not get from just a master's of nutrition. I really want to understand people in the community, so that's why I really want to get my public health master degree. Another thing is I really want to have my own TV show. I know it's kind of crazy, but I want to have like a lifestyle and cooking TV show. The cooking show is going to be like a healthy, nutritious cooking show. My audience are going to be people who have different diseases such as diabetes and cancers and kidney diseases. I really want my audience to participate in the TV show. I want them to be able to come up to me and say, "Where's your dietitian, Jaquel? Like, how do I help this? How do I cook for my diabetes?" Well, this is what I'm going to say. Well, you in the audience, come up here and I'm going to show you how to cook for your diabetes. I'm going to show you how to use carbohydrate counting, how to really look at your carb intake. If it's for kidney disease, we're going to talk about nutrients and minerals and vitamins for your kidney disease. Things that people do not know because they don't have the finances to go see the dietitian, or they don't have insurance to see the dietitian. I really want it to be interactive, my TV show, and I also want it to be lifestyle. You have the doctors, you have the chew, but you don't have a dietitian ran TV show where it's all about knowledge, about cooking, and about lifestyle. So that's where I see myself probably in 10 years. I jumped from 5 to 10, so that's where I see myself in 10 years.
I need to know, have you ever felt uncomfortable in a work situation? And if you felt uncomfortable at Tulane during your internship, what would you do about it?
I have felt very uncomfortable in a work situation. I am a coach for Special Olympics cheerleading in Pitt County, and my girls are disabled and handicapped. And when I first initially started with the girls, I felt very uncomfortable actually because I didn't know. I didn't know really how to approach them. I had girls that are in I have girls that are in wheelchairs. I have girls that are with canes that aren't really able to do anything. But, I really just wanted to learn from them. And I wanted them to learn from me. And I hope they have learned from me. My girls are amazing. They have taught me the importance of being really just a human being, the importance of not taking things for granted. And when I felt uncomfortable in that situation, I went to the parents because the parents know their children. And I asked them, I was like, how can I help your child? How can I help your child help me? And they were really nice about it. And they told me, the things to do, not to do, and just to be really careful with them because honestly, they are fragile, but they're not fragile in the sense of just like, mentally. They're just really, it's physical. It's all about being physically fragile. But my girls are amazing. I love my girls. They've taught me so much. They've taught me so much about myself. They've taught me so much about being a leader. They taught me just being a good person. And I will never ever forget. My girls are amazing. If I felt uncomfortable in a Tulane internship rotation, first I would go to my peers. 9 out of 10, my peers have been in the same situation that I probably would that I felt uncomfortable in. So I would go to them. I think that peer-on-peer connection and the interaction, just to see if they've been in that situation and what happened or how did they overcome that situation. That's the first people or the first group that I would go to. The second group that I would go to is the preceptor. The preceptor will be my last person that I go to, because I like to try to figure things out for myself. And like I said, if I feel uncomfortable in a situation, I'll first go to my peers, and then lastly, I will go to the preceptor.
Describe to me how you would prepare for a major exam.
The way that I prepare for a major exam is kind of exactly like I prepare my coffees at the shop here. Basically, I get all of my ingredients together. Say it's an M&T exam. So basically, I will get my notes, my lectures, anything that is M&T related for that exam. I will get it all together. I will study well in advance. And I like to think about things as if they are actually happen. For example, if I actually had a patient with diabetes and the exam that I was having was about diabetes, I would think about what would I say to my patient about the diabetes, or what knowledge will I give them, what information will I give them. That's how I think. I think a lot of it is going to be conceptual, instead of just like a multiple choice question or exam or an essay question. I feel like it's going to be real life circumstances, and that's how I kind of study for all my M&T exams, and really just try to put myself in that situation instead of trying to really to guess or to memorize, which with multiple choice is basically memorization. So that's how I will study for a major exam.
Tell me about a situation where you felt like someone treated you unfairly and how you handled it.
I haven't really been in a lot of situations where I felt untreated unfairly. One instance that I can remember is when I was in a food lab, and my professor was teaching the class, and she just automatically kind of called me out and was talking about my hair because I had long hair at the time. And she said that in this profession, you're not allowed to have that long hair. And it really made me feel a certain way, because my thing is, I just wish she didn't call me out in front of class. So what I did was after class, after no one was there, I pulled her to the side and I said, Dr. Dufferin, I did not really appreciate how you called me out in class. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that was the moment to call me out in front of the whole class. I was kind of embarrassed, and it was just not a cool situation. And for that, she was like, Jaquel, I get what you're saying, and I'm sorry that I called you. That was not my intention. I just wanted to let you know that in this profession, it's really strict about your appearance, which I totally understand. I love fashion. That is one of the things that that sets me apart from a lot of people, is that I love fashion. I love to dress. I love different styles, and I think at that time it was just a really kind of a miscommunication, which most things are miscommunications, and it's just really just bringing it up and talking about it and then moving on.
So, are you better at working on a lot of things at a time or just a few specific things at a time? Give me an example or two.
I am definitely a multitasker. I like to take a lot of things on at once. For example, I was a collegiate cheerleader. I had a part-time job. I also volunteered at family medicine, and I was a full-time student, if that wasn't enough. So I like to take on a lot of things. One thing that I'm doing right now, even with working and school and still volunteering at family medicine, I decided to take on this really big community project that I am running, and that I am actually getting out into neighborhoods asking for donations to take to my local food bank. And so basically the gist of it is going up to the door and saying, Did you know that food insecurity is such a prevalent thing within Eastern North Carolina? And you can help by combating that by giving donations into putting the donations into this bag that I'm giving them, and they will have the bag for the whole month. So they can put healthy donations into the bag. Also, I put recipes because I was told at the food bank that a lot of people that go to the food bank do not know how to prepare the recipes. So I decided to actually put the recipes in the bag that the neighbors can put the ingredients for those recipes in the bag as well, along with the healthy donations. I then would take the donations to the food bank, and a lot of people would just leave the bags on the porch. And if they leave the bag on the porch, I will also put a thank you card saying thank you for your contribution to the Eastern North Carolina Food Bank. It is greatly appreciated, and you will are helping combat food insecurity within your community.
Tell me about a time you faced a challenge when working cooperatively with someone that didn't really share your views. What was that like?
Well, it was for my research class, and it wasn't really a problem. It was just, I think, like I said before, a miscommunication. We had a research topic, basically, and we had 2 to 3 people in our group, and one of the girls who was very active, she was a motocross person who loved bikes and things like that, and we had to come up with the topic. And for me, I really wanted to talk about fast food consumption, which is a really big problem within my community. And so we were kind of not seeing eye to eye at first, trying to figure out, which one was better, either the physical activity part or the fast food consumption part. And for some reason, which I don't know why we didn't think about this from the very get-go, we was like, why don't we just put it together? That would make both of our ideas on paper, and it would make it work. So we decided to do fast food consumption in adolescents 11 to 13 and that effect on physical activity, which we actually got an A. So that was the result of this whole thing. We got an A in the class, which was amazing. I loved every minute of doing this research. The things that I found about fast food consumption and about physical activity among adolescents 11 to 13 was really interesting. The correlations were really interesting, and it really just put us in a really good space. Our professor told us that we were one of the best groups that had a really good presentation because we did work well together. I really hope that you have seen my personality and what kind of person that I am. I really want to be a part of the Tulane Dietetic Internship. I feel like that we will be a good match, and I hope that you feel that we will be a good match as well. I really believe that dietitians are doctors of the future. It's all about prevention, so we are the doctors of the future. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope to hear from you soon.